Okay, so it's variety change. Just ran through the first 59 bags today. Yeah, burning through the corn. Let's see, can I do this? You guys are watch my ugly mug this way, right? I didn't think it would do that, right? How about that? You can do it there. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just going to go get this pallet of seed and take it out there. Alright, so this process won't take long. I'm just going to cut this plastic down just enough that I can get to the seed. I need 24 bags of seed. It will take 24 bags to fill it up. Okay, so I got the lids open. Oh God. I've got the lids open, and I'll tell you what, this corn planter is working really well. Really well. Very even feed out of them. Now, I was one bag off on that last variety, but you can see they're pretty damn close. And I had to, this one here is low, so what I had to do was I had to take a bag, put a full bag in, and then not quite a full bag into that one, and then move it to this one, and so on and so forth, so on and so forth, until I got on to the end so that they were all level. And there were a couple that were lower than others, and obviously that's one of them. But I'm just going to go ahead and throw this in. This is a different variety. It is a 100-day variety. I don't ever go below 100 days. I have planted 98-day corn, and you know, 98 is close enough to 100, but I don't generally do anything less than 100. Probably wondering why that is. Well, I don't know. I'm more of a long season person, or a full season, and I think it's more or less preference. I just think it's more or less preference over anything else, for that matter. I don't know, we always used to grow for the cows, and when we went to just growing for grain for somebody else's cows and pigs and chickens, just always felt that once you got down below 95 days, it was, it just didn't seem, the plant grew shorter. I don't know, it just didn't seem to do well for us. Which is fine, you know, to each their own. There's plenty of really good varieties that are 92 day, 95 day. It just seemed like it, I don't know, the fuller season varieties. Last year I did grow 116, 114, or 115, I can't remember, but I know it was 115 and 116, 112, 111. I had all kinds of varieties, but the best ones were the shorter season. And not so much the dry, it wasn't so much the yield was much different, it was the dry down. Now last year I had several $1,000s in gas for the grain dryer because the longer season took forever to dry down. So I'm just kind of trying to avoid those problems this year with the 106 and 100 day corn. 106, perfect. That was the best one I had last year. That one yielded 308 bushels of wet corn that was 20% moisture. And of course, you know, that brings you down to like that 298, but 308 bushels, I don't even think it took 10 bushels off, you know, but it really yielded well. I'm shooting for a more consistent yield this year on all of it. There were the fields over there where I got that 108 or 308 bushel yield. I have treated it all the same this year, so to get some consistency I used my best practices from last year this year so that I get that. So last year I felt that I was just a slight bit short on nitrogen. For my goal. I had 220 units of nitrogen on there. I averaged 216 on all of it. And that was 216 dry bushels because I sold it, and that's what I got. You know, I sold the grain. I actually did a little better than that, but I'm going to stick with 216 just because. I actually sold 2 more loads than I thought I had carried over. So that's, they were both, what were they, 1100, one was 1100 bushels, the other one was 11, like 1200, 1190. With what I figured with wet bushels, was 216 turned out to be a fair bit more. Like we're talking, let's just say 22, 23, just say 2,300 bushel. That's pretty huge. I had 2,300 bushels more than my pencil had pushed. Usually it's the other way around. And I don't like it when it's the other way around, but I was pleasantly surprised. So with my 46-year-old corn planter, my 20-year-old GPS that I hate because I have to steer with it, and I still have crooked rows, but that's fine. I don't mind crooked rows. My shitty soil, according to the rest of the ag world, I averaged really wicked. Now this coming year, I may not get it, even though I have upped the nitrogen slightly. I'm going to shoot for an average of 250 bushels on a lot more acres. Probably won't get it, but I'm hopeful because I'm treating everything the same except this one farm. Now, if I take everything that I've treated the same and average those bushels and then average the bushels of the farm that I haven't planted yet, which is good soil, but it's damp, it's wet, it's in a wetter area. We'll see. My dad is like, yeah, I suspect you're not going to get 200 bushels here just because it's been neglected for so long. And I agree with him. Neglect pays nobody. And the former farmer on there had neglected this soil to the point where the hay crop wouldn't hardly even grow. Now, for the last couple of years, I've put some love into the soil, money, love, you know. And I've decided that I'm going to rotate it into corn because the weeds are so bad. And I can't get the weeds under control. And I hate using massive amounts of, say, Banville 2,4-D or Clarity 2,4-D and other things like that to get it under control, and they never do. So I just decided that atrazine and metachlor, or whatever the hell this other shit is, this TriStar that I'm using, cleaned every field that I had. There's no more hemp dogbane in any of it that I had last year. And there was hemp dogbane and cocklebur. It killed the cocklebur. I was shocked. So anyway, let me shut up and I'll get this stuff, this powder on here, and then I'll get on to talking about other things. All right, so I'm going to continue talking. I'm sure there's some people that are yelling at the computer screen, why didn't he finish out that seed that's in there before he changed varieties? Well, the answer's simple. Seed corn of today does not have a very long pollination. And a lot of these varieties are maximum 4 or 5 days. Maximum. So, you've got these varieties that are only 4 or 5 days, and you know, maybe some of it sprouted up a little later. I don't know. It always seemed to be a little smarter deal to mix them. Back in the day, we would get like, you know, 100 day and 103 day, or 103 and 107 day. You know, something like that. We would put one row would be a different variety or a different day corn. And the reason we did that was to extend the pollination, because you go into a long dry period and that tassel comes out and it's still dry and there's not enough moisture at night. You'll have piss poor pollination. Nobody wants piss poor pollination, because that's just the dumbest thing. It's a yield robber. So by me doing this, and not removing all that seed, I'm actually going into drier ground now, so it just makes sense to me. Maybe it doesn't make sense to most people, but it does to me, and that's all that really counts in this world, in my world, is what makes sense to me. You know. And I'm sure there's people that find me to be totally irrelevant, because I'm just some guy from New Jersey that seemingly has just started to grow corn because, well, I took a 6-year break from growing corn. And was it a mistake? No. But I just felt that there was something missing in my life, and as much as I love to grow corn, I figured, you know what, I'm going to grow this corn, and I'm not going to grow a lot of corn. But I am going to grow a lot of corn on every acre. You know, I could farm 5,000 acres of corn. I'd obviously have to get different planters, or another one of these, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. It takes me 10 days to plant with 2 12-row planters. I can do a lot, and I can buy these planters cheap. So I can buy these planters cheap, but I'm not going to do that. I can do that and get an average yield of 175 bushels and be really, you know, average. But I don't want to be average. I want to be extraordinary and take this ground that I have and make the most of it with soil conditioners. And maybe it costs a little bit more to do it, but if the cost outweighs the inputs by twice, I've done something good. Just leveling these boxes out that I had screwed up last night. And that'll do it. I could probably put another bag in and really get them leveled up. But I'm not going to worry about it. I would actually, you know what? Maybe I should. Yeah, No, fuck it, I ain't gonna do it. I'll do it later. So anyways, I'm gonna shut this off and I'm gonna come back on a different note. Okay, look at the pretty colors. We have green and we have pink. Every one of them has green and pink. If you're not a farmer, then you probably don't know what the hell that's all about. But I'm gonna tell you what it's all about, all right? This is genetically modified seed, okay? And what that means is that it's tolerant to herbicide, it's tolerant to insects. But there's certain insects that they don't like killing. One of them is the monarch butterfly, and a couple other worms they just don't think should die. But anyways, I'd say kill them all because nobody loves insects anyways. I mean, except the pretty butterflies. But anyway, I'm being sarcastic. I really don't want to kill the butterflies either. So what that is that is a non-GMO seed that's in the bag, as well as the genetically modified. So the pink ones are 20% of that bag is non-genetically modified seed, so that they call it refuge in a bag. We used to have to do refuges where the bugs could go to, and they found that farmers were just mixing it in and it worked. So that's what they do, refuge in a bag now. We did it back when you weren't supposed to do it, but we did it, and refuge in a bag works. So that's what that is. So now the bugs can go to a certain plant and not die. And there you go.